Hello, and I'm James Lott Jr., and welcome to A Lot of Help with JLJ. Okay, so I am doing this more. This is my first time ever doing a live show of this show. I just ate some food. Excuse me. That's kind of, I just ate some breakfast. Um, yes, A Lot of Help with James Lott Jr. is my show that I do, usually recorded, and I release them. But this is the first time that I actually did it. We're doing it live. My show, I've done 152 episodes. This is my 153rd episode, and I've done it 4 years, 5 years. It'll be actually 5 years this November. I just looked it up. That's kind of crazy. A big extravaganza. So for those of you guys who maybe just tuning into this, figuring out who am I, what's going on, let me give you a little stuff. So Talk A Lot with James Lott Jr. is a podcast I started for my life coaching arm of my business. I'm a professional organizer. I'm a certified life coach in several areas. I went to Coach Training Alliance, got certified. Went to Goto places, got certified. And programs, got certified. And so I'm certified in 3 or 4 different areas. One is general life coaching. And I want to give a shout out to my teacher, Lori Cameron. She's the best. My eyes are watering this morning because of allergies. I'm not crying or anything. So if I got my eye, I'm sorry. And so I've been a life coach since 2014. April will be 7 years, which I can't believe. It's a long time. And I have clients. I am for hire. You can go to alottofhelp.com and find out my rates and what goes on, what the stipulations are, and what I do. But also, I decided this year my intention word is live. So I'm going to do more live stuff. We're getting stuck in my teeth. I'm do more live stuff. And 1 second. Okay, all right, I'm gonna stick it there. I'm sorry, guys. That's crazy. This is live TV, live. But no, I'm going to start doing more lives. I did a Facebook Live last week and got a nice little response. I'm going to start doing more lives on YouTube and on Facebook. Some will be the show, some will not be the show, and I'll still record shows. You can go to any place on the podcast, wherever you find your podcast. You can find these amazing shows with amazing people from all walks of life that are out there to help better your life. I talk to all kinds of people. I talk to people from cosplay for mental health to dentists, hair experts, doctors, lawyers. I talk to everybody on the show, and it's all for your benefit and mine too. I learn stuff all the time when I'm doing the show with them. But those podcasts can be found, the audio version from the very beginning can be found on any streaming service, from iHeartRadio to Spotify, Google, Apple, all that. Then I have some of the video versions are on the YouTube channel. Luckily, hopefully you're here, or you came here later. I'm glad you're here. And you can see them all on there too. Go back, there's a playlist. This is A Lot of Help, and you can do that. After the show, I'm going to be at 11:30. I'll be on Clubhouse. So if you're on Clubhouse, follow James Lott Jr. I'm doing a talk on there at 11:30. My friend Cesar Espino. Yeah. So you saw the title of this one, and it's titled "Expectations in Extraordinary Situations." And I'm going to share with you a story because I always share stories with people on my shows to relate with you, kind of how it could be. And I can tell you, I had an extraordinary situation, and this is not far fetched because nowadays, especially the way the world is, also how the world. I mean, it's just so much going on right now. It's not even funny. And so I'm going to share a story with you that happened to me that was just like, okay. But I'm going to first look at the chat room because we do this. So if you're first time watching this, there's a chat room and everything. So I'm going to make sure people know that. Okay. So there you go. There we go. So then on YouTube. And driver's license. Okay. That's my notifications. We'll do that. Okay. Oh, I'm going to also share on my Facebook page, which is A Lot of Help. If you're not following that, follow that, please. I'm going to share this on there, and if you know I'm live. But yeah, there's a story. So I want to ancestry.com. Yes, I did. Live now. Join me. Put it in my A Lot of Help page. Let's see. 1 second. This is all behind the scenes stuff. And of course, my computer's slow. So I went to ancestry.com and to do the DNA stuff, so I can see what I made up. Very interesting stuff. Trust me. Very very interesting stuff. Then I decided to. There we go. We'll do that. And I actually found, and so when you go, so if you don't know this, when you go on ancestry.com, you sign yourself up. You do the test. It tells you what your makeup is, but it also matches you with people who've also taken the test, and if you're DNA match. So it'll say, okay, and I saw the list. It's like some of them were my cousins. I knew who they were. I'm like, oh, I know that person, oh, that person, that person. And folks I don't know, because we're all related. We're all related somehow, right? In some way. So there are a couple of folks that were related to me closely, very closely. So I'm not going to get into major details because that part's kind of private business. But I matched with someone, and it turns out we're super close in relations. And this all happened recently. It's like this is literally all in almost real time. And we met online and met up and made the connection. And we've been conversing back and forth. It's interesting because this person, I think, has expectations, which I understand, because now you have this new family that you were kind of looking for at some point. Your new family. My family reaction has not been actually upsetting. Like you would think people would be upset or like, oh my God. Not at all. It's just like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. We didn't expect that. And I think also because we're a lot older, there's this different that we weren't looking for family. I wasn't looking for anybody. I really wasn't. It wasn't like looking. I was just curious. I'm 50, almost 52 years old. I'm just like, I don't even talk to the family I have most of the time. Right? But I think when something like this happens, it's because it's an extraordinary situation. You finally have a family member. What's it? A gray hair? That's a gray hair. Okay. You meet up. And I'm thinking, so you might have your own expectation. You may have your own expectation. Does it match together? And that's a great lesson, period, for all of us in all situations, because that can affect all kinds of outcomes when you have certain expectations. So on this person's end, they can speak for themselves. I have no idea what they were thinking, but it came across, they were excited, which naturally, they found a family they didn't know they had. I was eager. So I always walked in compassion and made sure that whenever they reached out to me, I reached back. But again, this is all new, right? Meanwhile, I got 10,000, as you guys know, I do 10,000 things. I got 20 channels, I got 2 networks, I got things going on. So I'm always kind of, when it comes to the family, I do know this is the problem when it comes to working in certain kinds of jobs. There are events that I miss. There are calls I can't call as frequently, and especially with older people in my life sometimes, because they're retired. They're all retired. They worked their hard years. They have their deserved retirement, very much deserved. So their time is different. I'm still working. My sister goes through the same thing sometimes with her family. It's like we're not just really available. We have to work. I still got a lot of life to go. I got things to do. I'm not retired too, and I would love, trust me, I wish I could be retired, just hang out with you guys and talk. But I can't. So I tried though still to be compassionate about that. Because they're a different station. They just care about me. They want to talk to me. They want to hear from me. So I literally I wish I could lay around and just talk to them all day long. I would love to. So there's again nothing bad there. So my feeling is, okay, I'm going to be there for them when I can. I try my best. I try to apologize, let them know what's going on, because it's just tough. I don't have the balance. I'm telling you right now, I don't have the balance down. It changes every 5 minutes. So again, we were in this extraordinary situation again this last year. For 3 months, I had all the time in the world. Last year, when the pandemic hit, I had all my jobs dried up, so I could talk to everybody all day long and have a good old time, and it kept me busy from going crazy. But then I found my way. And I've maneuvered my way back into business. So now it's back as business as usual, so to speak, within the pandemic limits. So they're long days. There are days when this is my schedule today, and it could add. This is like I have like 7 things today. It could, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 7 things. It could go longer, and more could be added. This is from 9 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. That's my day, and literally I have these things going all day. Um, and then at night I'm done. 9 o'clock, I'm tired, and occasionally I do a late night show on IG. Talk a lot with James Lott Jr. And I'll do that sometimes. Um, I was like, I saw a thing like what? And so it's just I don't have the balance. I fully admit I don't have the balance. So I can't even tell that. So yeah, it's very crazy. So anyway, funny. So I have had to have conversations with people in my family to explain to my kids, my grandkids, cousins, whatever. Kind of explain to them in a way that's not bitchy or salty or aggressive. And just like, this is where my life is right now. This is the choices I'm making. It's all choice. Everything's all choice. This is what I have to do. You may have a job that's 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, nights and weekends off. That's great. I don't have that. That's something. And so people, if I have to if I have to, understand where they're coming from, they understand where I'm coming from, and it has to be a give and take thing, right? So I'm not going to change it anytime soon. This is how my life. I chose a life of entrepreneurship. It's not going to change. So then I guess the thing becomes their expectations of me. They start to someone starts to lower expectations and go, well, I'll invite him to every event, but if he can't make it, we won't be surprised. If I do make it, it's gravy. And so some of my family members have done that, and it's been fine. They know that I can make some, I can't make others. And I would tell them why I can't make it. Not just I can't make it, I'm busy. I just tell them, well, on this day, and a lot of times because I'm in the public eye, you can actually track what I'm doing most of the time. Like I'm not just lying to get out of something or just whatever. Or bullshitting you. I'm literally, you can see, oh, he's doing a live show right now, or he's recording this right now. But you can literally tell what I'm doing. So that's an interesting thing there. So this person, I think, from our talks, was very eager to share interesting parts of her life with me, which I, appreciate, of course. To open yourself up to somebody can be very strange. Hi, Kirsten. Can be very strange and untrusting. I would never use information against this person. I would never, throw it back at him or anything like that. So I'm here. I'm here listening. But they seemed very eager as I came across, which made sense to me. You found a family you didn't know. You're very eager. You want to know me. You want to have this big reunion thing. This person lives across the country. Pandemic happening. I'm not going to see them anytime soon. We're not that far off in age. Another thing too. And I just think there was a lot of. It came across for me like they were trying a little hard. But then I understood it's the excitement. You have a new this, you have a new that, you have a new this. It's very exciting. It's like I mean, who am I to be like, well, oh my god, no, it's very exciting. And if I was in that person's position, I'd probably be excited too. Like, I know all about, you don't know what. And so I did my best to always answer back on email, always things. And but I'm trying to also at the same time, I gotta figure out how I feel about this whole new family thing. How do I feel? And this person is related to some members of my family, and they're trying to figure out how they feel. Some are like, "That's fine. Hook this person up with me," and others are still thinking about it. And again, no one's actually thinking anything bad. That's what's interesting. There's no drama on this end. It's just like it's their expectations. They're trying to figure out what this means to them. Again, we're all older, and we're just kind of like, well, do we want a new family member? Do we not want a new family member? Is this important? Is it not important? It's kind of like we just don't. There's no, you know, it's just there's nothing bad, nothing bad. And we're looking at our own expectations at the same time. So the expectations, they go both ways, right? So we're looking at our own expectations going, well, what do we expect from this person? What do we expect out of this relationship? What do we expect to happen? Um, it's very interesting, right? We're trying to figure that out. but to get to each other time, this literally just happened a couple weeks ago. We're trying to figure this all out. But see, what happens is people are on different timetables when their emotions are different than the other, right? That happens. Totally understand that. So it feels like, well, this person wants to go full steam ahead. Let's go full steam ahead, get in there. We're now relatives. Let's just get to do it, which is very understandable. I can't say anything about that. And depending on the person, but see, we don't know each other. So you don't know what that person could be shy. That person, this is on both ends. You could be shy. You could be not that trusting. I'm the public eye. I'm not ready to spill my guts about my life to everybody, about stuff, just per people, or give out my phone number, or give out, there's just certain things, or my address, or just things I'm like, I'm just not sure about all that yet. You just met up. And I think this person, I try to be very compassionate and not, and live and go in love and say, okay, I admit I did a few things where I ignored a question. I admit that. I ignored a question. And the question was, can we switch to phone, go to phone? And I just didn't answer it. I answered all the other questions and the thing, but I didn't answer that because I didn't want to say no. I probably should have said, and this is what I should have did. I'm a life coach. I know better, but I didn't. Again, it's a extraordinary situation. I probably should just said nicely, this is good for you guys at home. We're going to try this at home. We just met. I appreciate this. I appreciate the ask. I'm just not ready yet to graduate to phone or get my phone number. We really don't know each other yet. Let's get to know each other first and get a little more acquainted and feel more comfortable, and then possibly we'll graduate to phone. That's what I probably should have said. If that person gets mad at that statement and doesn't understand that, that's on them. I should have not ignored. I should have just said, here's my side of things. We're all grown folks. We're all grown people. I'm not dealing with children. We're all grown folks. We all should have just said, I should have said, okay, here you go. And just let's go from there. That's probably what I should have did. I didn't do that. So I admit it. I admit it. Even though I ignored it, it still wasn't a mean thing. I wasn't mean to this person. I just ignored I just didn't answer the question. There were several. It wasn't the only question. There were several questions. I answered all those, which to me were actually more important questions because they were about family and pictures and things like that. So to me, that was way more important. I did that. So I've given this person answers that they didn't have before, and some insight. And to me, I have an obligation to do that. But it was very nice of me to do that. And I think if somebody asked me, if I was asking questions, I would hope someone would do the same for me. It's back to I treat people how you want to be treated. So I remember that too. I could feel the expectation was a lot of, I'm just excited. I want to know more. Let's talk more. I totally get it. But as I'm sitting with this, my emotions count too. And that's something that's very important, people. You have to remember. And my Aunt Faith taught me this, and I'm trying to really stick to it. My feelings don't stop because of your feelings and where they begin. It's literally, you don't get to tell me how to feel based on how you feel. I have valid emotions regardless of how you feel about them. That's kind of those are kind of the things. It's like, no, you don't get a chance to. I have a right to think how I feel too. If I want to be bitchy, I have a right to be bitchy. I have a right to say, no, bitch, don't call me anymore, or don't email me anymore. I can do anything I want. But see, I don't do that, of course. That's just rude. But I have right to have feelings. My family members have right to have feelings about a situation. And if we all go in compassion, concern, and care, which are my 3 C's, then you sit back for a second. You kind of say, okay, think about the other person. You go, okay, let me let them process it too, and hopefully they'll come around. But I understand the excitement, so I get that. I always want to make sure I always say I get the excitement, I get all that. But I just think that you have to let people come to what they need to come to. This person was already telling me what to call this person, and I was like, I'm not ready to do that. I don't know you. And I've had experiences before. I've gained family members before. So I know what this feels like years ago. And again, we took our time and we figured it out. We found a place. But this morning, this person basically said goodbye to me because I didn't respond the way they had hoped. It took me back for a second. I was like, oh, okay. It was like, good luck and goodbye. And I was just like, but so I'm not responding. I'm just like, I've been really compassionate about it. I've been trying to be really sensitive to the situation, trying to navigate my way through it. I'm just like, okay. So I feel like her expectation was not met by me, and which is understandable. I totally understand that, and that it was just like, okay, and maybe in this person's mind, they took my responses as I'm done. I'm not going to talk to you. And I read my responses back. I didn't write it that way. I still stand by what I wrote, but it was just like that was kind of they're like, okay, well, I guess since you're busy, bye. And I basically explained why. But I should go back. The email before that, I explained, because this person does follow me on social media, that you'll see now. You'll see all the things I do. It's just it's the first of the year. I have 2 companies. I'm by myself. I'm not. I told her I didn't find the balance. I have not found the balance yet. So I may not respond as often as as you may like, but I try to respond. And I sent her a couple more pictures. She asked a question about some family members, so I fulfilled that. And then it was all good luck, goodbye. Okay. So you're at home, like, what would you do? I mean, would you just like, okay, well, why are you saying goodbye? And I'm not going to cause drama. There's no reason to cause drama. I'm not going to do that. I don't know this person. I really do not know this person. We've had a couple of texts, a couple of messaging exchanges and emails. That's it. I don't know this person. I don't know what their whole thing and the deal is. This person explained part of their life, but I still don't know them. We don't know each other. We've never met in person. So I'm not going to cause a big dramatic thing about it. That's just not it. But I thought it was very interesting about expectations and about extraordinary situations that are happening, because they happen. And now this DNA thing, there's another person who's on my list who's very close to me in relations. I don't know who they are. But it's just very interesting that this is stuff that's going to come up more and more as people take the tests, as people start moving around, just as these strange events keep happening in the world. Everybody's on edge. We've all had a lot of stuff going on. And then when you're older, you've been through a lot of stuff. Chances are you've been through a lot of stuff. Either you've worked some of that out or you haven't. You could be just, also not loud over here. Every once you just kind of, you're like, what, and it's also about what do you want out of life at whatever point in life you are in life. In your 50s and 60s and 70s, it's kind of like, well, am I content where I'm at? Am I fine? I mean, it's like, do I need anybody else? I know my world's gotten smaller in terms of inner circle, because those big crowds, I'm not interested in anymore. And I was at one point really, really into family. I wanted to find out all my relatives and find everybody. Have these 10,000 cousins. I don't need them anymore. I just don't need them anymore. I don't have the cousins I have, basically. Talked to a few, and they're great. But I've cut out a lot of people in my life. I've cut out so many people in my life in the last 5-6 years that just do not serve me anymore. I just have no interest in anymore. I have siblings I don't talk to. I mean, I don't really care anymore, because my mental health is first. And I realized that I put out a lot. LOTT. I put out a lot, and I don't get it back. And a lot of us go through this. Not just me. I'm not the only person in the world who goes through this. A lot of people go through this, where there are a lot of us who are givers. I'm naturally paternal. I'm actually like, what do you need? I'm here for you. What do you need? I want to be involved. And I've been hit against the wall many times with indifference, out of sight, out of mind, sometimes anger and stuff towards me. I mean, I've been hit with a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh, well, that's not, I don't like that. So I just think that's very, very, yeah. So I think expectation could be we have to kind of temper our expectations and look at them and be honest about them, especially when it comes to situations that are not the normal situation. Finding you have a family member is not a normal situation. In your 50s is not normal. In your 60s is not a normal situation. You don't just wake up and, oh, I got a cousin, I got a sister, I got an aunt. That just doesn't happen. It's happened to me before when I was younger, but it happened now. It's kind of like, and also chemistry. There's chemistry. I had a cousin I found out about 3 or 4 years ago. We had amazing chemistry when we met. We're close in age. We have a lot of same likes. And shout out to cousin Steven. We hit it off, and we actually got to meet. We actually met in person and hung out. I was in DC, he was in DC, and I was in DC. And we actually worked out. And so that's somebody that I was like, oh, okay. And we hit it off. Nice guy, like I said, around my age, really cool. We went to a great place to eat. It was so much fun meeting. It was fun. And again, I had an expectation of, here's a dude who's around my age, who's a cousin. And we had some things in common. We started doing some work together. Now with that, that was an extraordinary situation. But after that, we were supposed to do some shows together. We started out, and then all of a sudden he just petered out. Just stopped doing them, didn't say anything to me. And then now I'll talk to you about that. We haven't spoken in a long time. I know he's out there doing his own thing. So again, my expectation was, I had high expectations. I was like, we're going to get together. We started doing these first couple of shows. They were great. I was going to produce them. We're going to have a good time. And it was wonderful. And my expectation was we're going to be these cousins, bringing joy to the world, so to speak. That was my expectation. I don't know what his was, but that was mine. And then when it just fizzled out, we still haven't talked about it. We've never talked about it. Just never talked about it. I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. I had to go, okay, chances are it's not about me. I mean, it could be about me. I don't know. But I don't think it's about me. There's probably his own stuff going on. Maybe he's just too busy. Maybe he's too tired. Maybe he thought it was harder than he was. I don't know. But he chose not to say anything to me about it. So all of a sudden, we stopped doing it. And he just stopped communicating. I'm sure I picked up the phone or sent him a text. He probably answered back. I don't think there's anything bad there. But expectations, and they weren't fulfilled. So I had to suck it up and go, okay, they didn't work out. And so I'm not angry at him. I was angry at first a little bit. Well, I'm more disappointed, but I'm not angry anymore. Like, it wasn't meant to be. And I think when you say God closes doors, it's not to like close door opportunity. It's like keeping you on this narrow path to your actual destiny. So I'll take it. I'll take that. It's okay. Maybe that's what it is. And I wish him well, of course. And the same as the other person, I wish her well also. I wish them all well. I mean, I don't have anything ill against them. But I had to learn that expectation, it comes from, we all have expectations, and it all comes from everywhere. And we have to like watch our expectation and make sure it's still within the zone and not someplace that's just outrageous, and it's not outrageous. And so I have to keep that in mind for us. Well, that's today's show. I don't want to go on too much longer. Just really kind of talk about that. Watch your expectations, especially this time period where things are very shaky. I know my screen just shook, of course, because I just moved it. But things are very shaky. We have a lot of unknowns in the world right now. We don't know what's happening really 1 minute to the next. There's no guarantees. I mean, there was in the world, but now even more so. It just seems more prevalent. Just we have no idea what's going to happen. So we have to kind of either lower expectations or just kind of be careful with them or try not to have any. But just try to stay sane as you can. Have self-care. Take care of yourself. Look out for yourself. I mean, I would say it's yourself, self. And in terms of if you take care of yourself, then you're going to be better for everybody else out there. And you can handle situations a lot smoother. I'm James Lott Jr., certified life coach. A Lott of Help.com. That's LOTT. A Lott of Help.com. I'm going to start doing more of these. My Facebook page is A Lott of Help. And I'm James Lott Jr. everywhere. And I have a TikTok series, which I need to do an episode called A Lot to Think About on TikTok at James Lott Jr.